If you want to waste money, go and throw it in the gutter. Not on this boat. I'm not here to ask for much, the old man said. Just let me stay, even if it's to open the gate. He thundered across the compound in Surulere, Lagos. His son, barely 10 years old, stood behind the rusted gate, his oversized school uniform clinging to his thin frame. Please, Odion, his wife, Mama Kemi, pleaded. Let him go to school. All his mates are in primary 4. Kemi wants to be somebody. Somebody? Chief laughed mockingly. Somebody like what? Engineer, doctor. You think money grows on the mango tree behind this house? I built this empire with my own 2 hands, not with any useless certificate. Chief Odion was one of the wealthiest importers in Lagos at the time, owning a booming electronics warehouse at Alaba International Market. He believed in money, not education. In his world, books were for dreamers, not doers. And his son, Kemi, was nothing more than a weakling in his eyes. Too quiet, too bookish, too unlike him. But Kemi wasn't weak. He was a seed buried in dry ground, waiting for rain. Every night, Mama Kemi lit a candle and prayed silently beside her son. She worked as a tailor during the day and fried akara at night, using every spare naira to buy used textbooks and school supplies from street vendors. You will go to school, my son, she would whisper, placing her hand on his chest. You will become what your father never believed you could be. They lived in the back quarters of their own house, while Chief Odion occupied the main building like a king. Kemi wasn't allowed to sit at the dining table or speak when his father had visitors. But even in that darkness, he held on to hope. With the help of his mother and the generosity of a retired teacher in the neighborhood, Kemi began attending a public school unofficially. He would sneak out early in the morning before his father woke up and returned late. At night, he read by candlelight while his father drank beer and watched loud football matches on TV. By the time Kemi was 13, he was juggling 3 jobs. After school, he washed cars in the estate, helped an elderly woman sell puff-puff, and cleaned church floors, all to save for his WAEC fees. Chief Odion never asked where his son went. As long as the boy stayed out of sight, he was fine. I told you, the boy is useless, he would often say. Let him suffer. It's the only thing he's good at. Yet the irony was cruel. Chief's business was beginning to bleed. A bad investment in counterfeit electronics and a collapsing partnership left his warehouses empty. But his pride was still intact. And pride, more than poverty, is what destroys men. One evening, when Kemi was 17, he returned from his car washing job to find his mother lying on the floor, barely breathing. She had collapsed from exhaustion and untreated diabetes. Chief Odion stood at the balcony with a glass of Hennessy, watching passively. If you don't have money for hospital, carry her to church, he scoffed. Kemi wept as he carried his mother in his arms down the street. That night, she died in a rundown government hospital with no power and no doctors. Her last words to him were, "Don't stop. Don't look back. Run toward your future." Under the pouring rain, Kemi buried his mother alone. No relatives, no friends. Not even his father showed up. That night, he packed his bag and walked to a church in Mushin that offered free vocational training. He learned coding, design, and marketing from donated laptops. He never returned home again. In the silence of the night, he wrote down his dream: become someone the world cannot ignore. And he did. Lagos Island, a towering glass building, shimmered under the sun with bold letters: Chemitech Global. Its founder, now in his 30s, stepped out of a Tesla wearing a navy blue suit. He was one of the youngest tech billionaires in Africa, with investments in fintech, e-commerce, and education. But the past has a long shadow. Chief Odion, once feared and envied, now lived in a face me, I face you compound in Ajigunle. His wealth was gone. The last warehouse had been seized by Amcon. His friends, nowhere to be found. He spent his days sitting outside on a broken plastic chair, swatting flies and reminiscing about the good old days. His clothes were worn, his belly no longer full. For the first time in his life, he understood hunger. He had one dream left, to see his son again. One hot afternoon, Chief Odion stood outside the gates of a mansion in Banana Island. Security guards blocked his way. "I want to see Kemi," he mumbled, his voice trembling. Tell him his father is here." The guard stared in disbelief. "Your name, sir?" Chief Odion." The guard disappeared inside. Minutes later, Kemi stepped out. Now tall, confident, and calm, he looked at the man who once called him useless. The silence between them was heavier than any word. "I'm not here to ask for much," the old man said. "Just let me stay, even if it's to open the gate."
The gate stood still, massive, black, and gleaming under the Lagos sun like a wall between two lifetimes, Kemi's past and present. Chief Odion stood at its threshold, clutching the rim of his threadbare cap, shame thick on his wrinkled face. He looked nothing like the man who once boomed through Surulere streets in a convoy of SUVs, barking orders and tossing naira notes at praise singers. Now his sandals were mismatched, his shirt faded and torn hung off his shoulders. But what hurt him most wasn't hunger. It was the shame of standing before the son he once called a mistake. "You said, GateMan?" Kemi's voice was calm, almost too calm. He stood beside the security post, dressed in a custom navy blue agbada, silent as he studied the man who once denied him life's most basic dignity, education. Chief avoided eye contact. "I know I don't deserve anything from you, but I'm tired, Kemi. I've been squatting with someone in a Ajegunle for 2 weeks, no food, no money. I'm not here to ask for much, just let me be useful, even if it means opening this gate." Kemi didn't flinch. His eyes were unreadable. "You think this gate is just a gate, Baba?" he asked, folding his arms. "This is the gate you locked me out of my entire life." Chief looked down. There was a time many years ago when little Kemi had stood outside their Surulere home drenched in rain. He had forgotten to finish a house chore before running off to attend school secretly. Chief Odion caught him and locked the front gate, yelling, "Since you love education more than my rules, sleep outside with it." That night, Kemi shivered under the stars, while his mother tried unsuccessfully to beg her husband. Now the roles had reversed. Chief stood outside, humbled and broken. "Come in," Kemi said, "but not to open gates." Chief looked up, confused. "What do you mean?" "I'll give you a guest room for now. We'll talk later, but not as father and son, as two men. One who built a future, one who wasted his." The guards stepped aside. Chief walked in slowly, limping as if the weight of regret had settled into his bones. The house was stunning, marble floors, wide staircases, African art lining the walls, and the hum of quiet wealth. Chief Odion was breathless. He had never imagined that his son could rise this high. That evening, Kemi served his father a hot meal at the dining table, grilled tilapia, jollof rice, and fresh juice. It was the same table he had once been banned from as a child. Now he owned it. Chief struggled to eat. Each spoonful felt like swallowing nails. "I should have listened to your mother," he said suddenly. "She was wiser than I was." Kemi didn't respond. "She begged me to let you go to school. You raised me out of your pride." Kemi said, looking directly at him. Not love. You couldn't control what you didn't understand, so you tried to kill it. Chief dropped his spoon. So why let me in? He asked. Why not leave me at the gate? Kemi took a deep breath. Because I'm not you. Pain taught me what you refused to teach me. Mercy, forgiveness, discipline. You taught me by being the example of everything I never want to become. Chief nodded slowly, his eyes filling. I'm not offering you a job, Baba. I'm offering you rest. That's all. News spread quickly. Even in highbrow Banana Island, house staff and neighbors whispered. Did you hear? The billionaire tech guy let his father move in after the man disowned him. Some saw it as poetic justice, others as unnecessary mercy. But Kemi wasn't trying to make a statement. He was living his truth. He had built scholarships in his mother's name, sponsored young tech students, created startup incubators across Nigeria. And now, he had to face the hardest challenge of all. Healing from a father wound that ran deep. Days turned into weeks. Chief stayed mostly quiet in his guest room, ashamed to roam freely in the house. One evening he wandered to the gate and sat near the security guard Daniel, who offered him chin-chin. I used to own warehouses, Chief said to no one in particular. Daniel nodded. Oga Kemi said that. But life has its own way of humbling us. Chief sighed. I didn't think I would end like this. Daniel smiled. Who said this is the end? 3 months later, Kemi called his father to his office inside the mansion. I've been thinking, he said. You want to work? Fine. I have something in mind. Chief straightened, eager. But not as a GateMan. He slid a document across the desk. You'll be the head of the new foundation I'm launching in Mama's name, the Ireti Kemi Foundation. It focuses on supporting parents in low-income communities to send their kids to school. Chief stared at the paper, stunned. I'm giving you a second chance, Kemi said softly, to help kids like me, so that no boy will ever be locked out